What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are doing another scenario video. We are going to be ranking the Detroit Lions first round draft scenarios. Now, not all of them, okay? There's definitely some scenarios that I didn't include in here because there's so many different things that could happen, especially when you sit at number 3 and how the draft is this year. There's a lot of opportunities and a lot of things the Lions could be going for that we don't even know. So there's definitely some scenarios that are going to be left off, but here I'm going to be ranking probably the most realistic scenarios. So let's get it started. Now that we're into the video, that's exactly what's going to be happening. We're going to be ranking realistic, okay? I'd say it like this because I'm not sure like what realistic really is, draft scenarios. Because realistic to me sounds like, you know, how the mock draft simulators been going. Bengals take Burrow, Chase Young goes 2, and then boom, what's realistic? Isaiah Simmons, Jeff Okudah, that's realistic. However, we know that the draft can be a wild time, and realistic really isn't a thing because sometimes teams reach for players and we're like, why in the world they do that? But it makes our draft better. Other times teams will take players that they don't really need just to make us mad. Now, I don't think they do it just to make us mad, but it makes me mad. So yeah, exactly what we're going to be doing in today's video. We are going to be ranking those. Now, I decided to try to keep it realistic when I rank these. Like, I didn't have scenarios where we trade back to like number 20 and get Chase Young. Like, that's not realistic, so I couldn't include that. However, I did want to have some fun. So this is like a 1 through 7 list, but I decided to make a number 0. And what's number 0? That's like out of this world great scenario that doesn't seem very realistic. That's why it's not on the list. So don't include this as part of the list. It's kind of just something fun to talk about. And that's the Detroit Lions trading back and acquiring Chase Young. Now, I know some people were probably expecting that to be at my top. I don't think it's that realistic that would happen. And how would it happen? Let's talk about that. Well, Bengals would take Joe Burrow, right? Bengals take Joe Burrow. And then at number 2, the Washington Redskins would have to pass on Chase Young. Now, who would they take? Well, they could potentially go with Jeff Okudah, who they could go and pair with Ronald Darby. They could go with Isaiah Simmons, who apparently they've shown a lot of interest in recently. They could go with a quarterback like Tua or Justin Herbert. Possibly they could trade back to like number 6, and then, the number 6, which would be the Chargers, trade up to take a quarterback. Not really number 5, because if they traded number 5, well, I guess it could be number 5. Probably not number 5, though, because it may change how the Detroit Lions, how this works out for the Lions. So that's what they would do. Then at number 3, the Lions would trade back. I'm saying with the Dolphins, but I guess it could be with the Chargers here. For example, let's just say the Dolphins. Lions trade back to 5. The Dolphins trade up, take a quarterback. Then at number 4, the Giants take either an offensive lineman, which the thought is they definitely could to protect Daniel Jones, Mekhi Becton, whether that's Tristan Wirfs. They take an offensive lineman, or they take who's remaining from the Redskins, who they didn't take, not named Chase Young. So maybe the Redskins went with Isaiah Simmons. They go to Jeff Okudah, which I don't think is very realistic because they were on James Bradbury, but you never know. Maybe the Redskins went with the quarterback, and they could take Isaiah Simmons at 4, or maybe they take Caleb Von Chasen, and then at number 5, the Lions land Chase Young. Yeah, not super realistic. Obviously, that's why I'm not including it, but hey, you can dream sometimes. Now let's get into the legit list, and this is coming in at the very top. We're going to go from 1 and work our way down, and at number 1, I have Lions landing Chase Young at number 3. I still believe Chase Young I just think Chase Young's the best player the Lions could take. Not by far. I won't say by far. He's the best player that the Lions could find a way to select at number 3. If Chase Young falls to 3, which actually is kind of possible, I would be so happy. And the thing that's great about this is that it comes in number 1 and it's not too unrealistic to the point where like, yeah, that can't happen. That will never happen. It actually could happen. I mean, even though the thought is still that, hey, Redskins are taking Chase Young and, Lions are going to be on the clock at 3. There's still a chance. There's still that chance that the Redskins decide, take a quarterback. They trade back with the team that needs a quarterback. They take Isaiah Simmons, something like that. And the Lions can lay in Chase Young. And to me, that would be the best. He could fit our scheme. This is actually a big dude. I think some people think he's a little guy. He could play on the D-line with Trey Flowers, with Danny Shelton. He could play as the Jack Roll, like a Devon Kennard, as a pure edge rusher. This guy can help in the run a little bit. It's Chase Young, dog. He's number 1 on my big board for a reason, and that's why he comes in at number 1 on my ranked scenarios. Now, hopping in number 2, I have the Lions trading back and landing Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons is number 2 on my big board for a reason. He's an absolute monster. And if the Lions can somehow trade back and still acquire him, the Lions did something right. Okay, that would be an amazing draft scenario. I wouldn't even hate taking him at 3, which I'll talk about in a second. But trading back and acquiring him would be even better. Now, what's up, everyone? Let me just hop in real quick. All right, I was eating some fries. Let me think. I was really thinking while I was editing this. I really do think that this number 2, trading back, getting Simmons, could be number 1. If you want to put this at number 1, that's fair. Getting picks and Simmons would be amazing. So if you want to put this at number 1, definitely go for it. I put it at number 2 in this list. I think it's fair to put it at number 1. I'm not going to change it, but I'm still going to leave it here. But I definitely think you could put this at 1. I just wanted to point that out. All right, get back to the video. How would this happen? Well, the Bengals would take Joe Burrow. At number 2, the Redskins would obviously have to pass. They could go the regular, normal route. Oh, we took Chase Young. Maybe they go, elsewhere. Maybe they go quarterback. Maybe they trade out. I don't know. The Lions are sitting there at 3. They trade back with the teammates as a quarterback, so they drop back to 5 or 6. And the Giants are the real problem here. They could be the team to mess this up. They could take Isaiah Simmons. However, Chase Young is still available. They could go with Chase Young. They could go with Caleb Von Chasen. They could go with an offensive lineman. They could go with Jeffrey Okudah to pair him with James Bradbury. They could go different options here, but that would just mean that they don't take Isaiah Simmons. Not the most realistic, because I think the thought is they do take Isaiah Simmons if Young is gone. However, you never know. We saw the Raiders take a player. I've said it once, I'll say it again, that I didn't think would go in the top 5. I thought he could fall to the 2nd round last season. They took him in the top 5, and you never know. So the Giants could definitely go elsewhere and surprise some people with a guy like Caleb Von Chasen. I have my eyes on that name because I think that could be an option, like legitimately an option for the Giants at number 4. And obviously, Lions playing Isaiah Simmons outside of the top 5, or after trading it back from number 3, acquire picks. That would be amazing. To get a guy like Isaiah Simmons who can do it all, get pressure, help in the run game, play pass coverage, guard pretty much anybody, guard the tight end, guard the running back, play the slot corner, play the safety, do whatever really you need him to do. A guy like that and acquiring picks would be it'd be something else. That's why it comes in number 2. Now, hopping in number 3 is the Lions trading back and landing Jeff Okudah. Now, the reason it's not higher is because I think this is actually very realistic. I think it's very, very realistic that the Lions trade back and land Okudah. And actually, my prediction video, this was my prediction. Lions trade back, land Okudah. The first 2 could go, the normal way that everybody expects, right? Number 1, Joe Burrow. Number 2, Chase Young. Lions are on the clock. They're like, hey, we don't want to take anybody here. We're going to trade back to 5 or 6. Team trades up for a quarterback. And then, you know what? Giants are available. Well, Giants are going to take Isaiah Simmons, and they need a linebacker, or I guess Chasen or lineman. And then guess what? The Detroit Lions are out there with their first pick in the draft at 5 or 6, and they take Jeffrey Okudah. They get the cornerback that they wanted, or at least some of us believe that they want. They get cornerback help. They pair him with Desmond Trufant and Amani Oruwariye, and they still get picks. That'd be a solid draft. I wouldn't be mad at it. I would actually be pretty happy about it. But it's not something that I would be overly excited, because I do think it is very realistic. Now at number 4 is Detroit Lions taking Isaiah Simmons at number 3. This one to me is one that, again, could be realistic. I know we've heard recently that the Redskins might be interested, so they could take him at 2, but again, if they do, then Chase Young falls to number 3, and then again, that was my number 1 draft scenario, so that'd be perfect anyways. But, if they go Young or they go elsewhere, they trade out, whatever it may be, and the Lions take him at 3, honestly, I wouldn't be mad. That's why it comes so high, and you would think that this wouldn't be so high because, hey, you're not even acquiring picks here. No, we're not. But Isaiah Simmons is that good in my eyes, and he would be so great for this defense. So I think that'd be a solid scenario. Now at number 5, Detroit Lions trading back and adding an offensive lineman. Now I think this could be definitely switched to number 4, so I'm kind of leaving this one up to you guys. But I think trading back for an offensive lineman would be a solid move, but it depends on how far back we do trade and what we get in return. The Detroit Lions, if they trade back to 5 and take a lineman, now maybe I'm not loving that much unless they get a solid return. If the Dolphins give them 26 and 39 and, they're 5 and we go to 5 and we take a guy like Wirfs or someone like that can help on the O-line, I'd be pretty happy. I'd be like, hey, we got to protect Stafford. So honestly, it's kind of high on this list to trade back and land offensive lineman, but I think that's like a sleeper one that I actually would be happy with, because I'd be like, you know what, Lions, I can actually, I can clap about that, because it's not something that everybody wanted. It's not something that was expected. It's not the most exciting pick, but it is necessary. You're protecting Stafford. You're still going with the trenches, and you know what? I like it, so I'm going to clap it up for you guys. Now, next up on our list at number 6, this is the Lions trade up for Chase Young. Okay, personally, this wouldn't make a lot of sense here. I don't even know how this would happen, but I thought I would include it. So maybe the Redskins get on the phone with Lions and like, hey, we don't want Chase Young, but we might take him. And then the Lions are like, why in the world would you just tell us you don't want Chase Young, but you might take him? So clearly you're not going to take him. And then, they start fighting with each other. I don't know. They might start throwing hands. I don't know what's going to happen. No, but seriously, the Lions call chat Lions and they're like, hey, we're not taking Chase Young, but you guys want him, you're going to have to trade him and get him. Well, Lions, really, you don't have to, because you're sitting at 3 and they don't want him. But anyways, maybe they don't tell the Lions that they don't want Chase Young. They're like, hey, would you guys be interested in trading? Would you guys be interested in trading up? And we're like, not really. We don't want to give up a lot to move up. We're fine right here. And they're like, hey, well, we don't, what would you offer us? And we're like, 5th round pick. I don't know. We got 2, 5th round pick, 4th round pick, maybe. And they're like, deal. And it's like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't hate it because, it's Chase Young. But at the same time, it'd be like, I didn't really want to give up a pick, especially if the Redskins were willing to trade back for not much, because it's like, yeah, they probably wouldn't have taken him anyways, so we could have just waited there. So that kind of stinks. Yikes. That would be kind of the thing there. But if you give up too much, because then it's like, oh, wait, they may have actually taken him. Now you gave up too much, and it's like, oh, gosh, we just gave up a lot to move up one spot. Like, yeah, that probably wasn't the best idea. So I don't love it. I really don't know why I even put it. You know what? Let's just act like this isn't a thing. This is a terrible scenario. This is Lions take Okudah at 3. The Lions take Okudah at 3, I will not be happy. And that's not because I hate Okudah. It's because I don't like the thought of sitting at 3 and taking him. I don't even think why would you do that? Can we just, hello? Like, why? Why would you take him at 3? To me, that makes no sense. There's literally no scenario where that's a smart idea. I get, I've said before, hey, if you like the guy, it's not a reach. You take him if you like him. You know what? The Lions really want him that bad. And you're like, hey, we really had to make sure we get this guy. We didn't want to miss out. All right, Lions, whatever. You did your thing. Maybe you couldn't find a trade. Maybe a team that won the quarterback didn't want to trade up, and they're like, all right, you know what? I see why you took him. You couldn't trade back. You tried to, you couldn't, so you just took him. That's fair. But if you can, and you don't even try to, and you take him at 3, I'm gonna be mad. I'll be like, are you serious, Lions? What are you doing? Why would you take it? Like, here's the thing: if you trade back to 5 or 6. He's not going to go at number 4, right? He's not going to go because, it'd be the same beginning. At number 4, he's not going to go. The Giants just got James Bradbury. They're not going to sign Okudah. And if they do, well, then you have Isaiah Simmons left, right? Maybe you got Chase Young. You're going to have someone good left. So you could just take that guy. And I think that'd be higher on my list anyways. But I guess if the Lions really, really love Jeff Okudah and they're like, no, we like him more than Simmons and Young, then it's like, oh, okay, I guess you took him at 3. Do you? But that's not what I would do. So these are my scenarios, not necessarily for the Lions. So these are kind of, they're kind of a mix, though. So I guess for the Lions, maybe they really want Okudah, and that's top of their list, and that's their big board. Maybe their big board goes Okudah, Simmons, Young, or something like that, and not like mine. But I guess according to my big board, that would not be the way to do it. I just take him at number 3. Man, you're such a great position, Bob Quinn. You're at number 3. You got so many options. And to take Okudah there, I don't love it. I do like thought of getting Okudah on at number 3. So those are really my scenarios. I think there's some other ones, obviously. Maybe the Lions, trade back to 23 or something. I don't know. Some crazy stuff with the Patriots, let them get Tua. That stuff could happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. Or maybe the Lions take Tua. Like, no, forget that. That would be at the very bottom. Y'all already know. So I'm not even going to include those. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.